I understood what refugee meant as far as the application to a specific individual or family. Hadn't been involved with it up to that point. We were very fortunate that when we first started, the refugee committee was already in the sponsorship area and had sponsored previous families. And we got involved with that last family that they were bringing in at that point.
Basically trying to help people that are in desperate needs flee from their religious or political prosecutions and start over a new life here.
We knew pretty well what was expected. We knew that we had to find accommodation. We knew that we had to make sure that they had food and clothing for a year, and that their rent would be covered, and that their medical needs would be met.
Mostly I knew it was about caring for people who were coming out of difficult circumstances. I knew that it was going to be about being a friend, hear what people had experienced if they were willing to talk. They were full participants in any decisions that were being made about their lives. I wasn't telling people what was going to happen with their lives, but rather learning from them what they needed. If there was support needed, they always knew where to come.
It felt really good, and particularly meeting them at the airport. And we were standing there with our Tim Hortons coffee cups like the commercials saying, "Welcome to Canada."
Yeah, no, it was exciting because it was like meeting long-lost family that you haven't seen in a long time, because you get to know them so well while waiting for them.
A lot of excitement. I think a little bit of anxiety and nervousness too, because you're never quite sure about communication. And we knew that they didn't have much English, if any. We do have interpreters to help us do that, but you have to realize then you're always working through another person. We brought them back to the church and made sure they had a meal that first night when they arrived. And there was a lot of excitement because we were welcoming a new family. There is a lot of paperwork that has to be done once the family arrive. There's a definite process in doing this, and you have to know where to go and how to do it. And I know some of the people in my own group have found that a bit overwhelming.
One of the difficulties that we find as people who live in rural Canada, that there seems to be a hesitancy from refugees wanting to come to Canada, to come to rural Canada. There are rural areas that want to welcome refugee families. Life is different in rural Canada, but still it's Canadian life.
You want so badly for it to be accepted and to know that they're coming. And that lengthy period is not knowing. Is when you're just waiting to hear, and it's the anticipation.
Not knowing exactly when the family is going to arrive at the airport. We now get notification pretty much a week to 2 weeks before a family arrives. But the challenge then is, even though you know they're coming in 2 weeks, to find an apartment.
Where people have come in where they have no other contact than us, it's a different challenge because we become kind of surrogate parents and try to help them. Where do they find the doctor? Where do they find the dentist? Where do they find aid? How do they get their kids in school? How do we get the housing set up? You really don't want to spend on a vacant apartment for 6 months if there's a delay.
And things also like furniture. We don't have storage space for furniture, so we kind of hope that some of our members can provide us with them, but sometimes timing isn't good. Of course, when people arrive, they don't have their OHIP cards and information and everything, and something is basically going to happen, especially if they have children. And there's the challenge of finding the right medical services that will assist in them cases.
Finding out more about the culture and about the country from which they have come, and dietary restrictions and that sort of thing. Dividing up the workforce of your group so that not too much of the work falls on one pair of hands. Having said that, I think for a family it's better if they don't have to deal with too many different people. We have a lot to learn to be effective resettlers. A lot to learn.
Culturally, they see some behaviors as normal and acceptable, whereas in our culture they're not normal or acceptable, so it challenges us to communicate.
And that's the thing that works in both directions, isn't it?
Right.
You know, there are some things we discussed a little earlier, you know, that are so acceptable among us, but not acceptable in some other countries. There are expectations on both sides, sometimes getting to know people more usually solves the problem.
You never know what to expect. I mean, of course, your expectations are that they will arrive, they will learn English, and then that they will become self-sufficient. In some cases, we've had people that have arrived with challenges,
Medical challenges.
medical challenges and whatnot, and that have actually split up.
It's not something that's that unusual, it's just that it's not part of your expectations. We'd love them all to run smoothly, but we are aware that they don't.
We stress, you know, you really should focus on learning English, because that is one expectation that we have of you. In that first year, we're going to support you. We're going to make sure that you're cared for. This is your opportunity to learn English. Clarify that expectation. That would be the chief expectation that I would say that we have. It's a matter of sitting with the family and talking to them about what their expectations are too. Because for example, we often have a family come and they want to work right away. It really is more important for them to have a good foundation in English before they take that step. The other expectation too that we have is that they will live within their budget. What we try to do is meet with the family regularly after they've arrived to make sure that they are managing that. Are they going to the right stores to get the best deals? Often a family will arrive and they'll not really be aware of what a private sponsorship is. In fact, the last family we met at the airport didn't seem to have any understanding that they were sponsored by anyone. So there has to be a meeting with the family early on, and where we explain to the family who we are, what we're about, what we plan to do for them, so that they have a good understanding of when the money is going to come in, how much is going to come in, an idea of budget.
As I said before, one of the expectations I would hope we would not have is the expectation that somebody's going to be forever grateful, but rather the expectation should be from our part to give and help and support and meet the needs as best we can. The families who come often don't have the orientation that as much as maybe they need. There are lots of surprises. And some are around work and around just the fact this is not a country where the streets are paved in gold. Maybe they had expected things to be totally respectful and totally peaceful, and maybe never experienced racism before in their lives.
Often when people come, they have a bit of a delusion in terms of what this country is about. They think of milk and honey in the street, you know. Everybody drives a Cadillac, and I find that it doesn't take long for people to realize that it's not that way. But that process can be painful.
There is no barrier. I mean, you can make someone understand even when you don't speak the words. I mean, you could hug somebody and you can make them feel welcome at home and help them. It's just a matter of knowing that you're both in the same place and you're both trying to achieve the same goals.
The other thing is that Toronto, being as ethnically diverse as it is, offers all kinds of opportunities, because if we don't have anybody in the congregation that can speak the language, we can find somebody that does. So normally we haven't had a problem communicating with any of the families that we've brought over. And like Linda says, a lot of times the physical movements, eye contact, smiles are the same worldwide. And if somebody sees us smile, they go, gee, maybe I should smile too. And then all of a sudden, whatever barrier there was disappears and melts away.
But basically, the system is set up for urban areas, and the programs are all administered out of cities. So if they come to Halifax, then there are classes already set up. Susan and I are working with English, and we're a rural area. We've been able to get 3 hours a week for each, in terms of what government will support for English language. What we will do as volunteers will be more.
It's important to give without expecting return. And it's important to let the sponsored family, the sponsored people, sort of define for themselves how they're going to relate back or how they're going to say thank you. Some people will be very expressive in their gratitude and feel like they can never pay you back. But I think it's important not to need that. I have to be really conscious of acknowledging or recognizing my own needs and not sort of having it be about my needs.
Sometimes they can get influenced by media or friends and whatever, and end up buying expensive communication packages or travel packages or things that are not necessary. We make it seem too simple here to get money. Yes, they can borrow the money, they can put it on credit cards and everything, but they have to pay it back in the end.
Even when we've come across those kinds of situations, we don't say, gee, that's too bad, good luck to you. We still stay involved and do provide assistance and say, okay, like here's what you've done, so you got to change that. You know, there should be almost a package put together that says, here you are, welcome to Canada, but here are the things that you have to watch out for.
The key thing, of course, is communication. Explaining in some detail through interpreters or through a translation.
Well, there are expectations and there's conflict and there's cultural awareness and there's trauma. There's a whole lot of stuff that is involved. So I would say managing expectations means really good, clear communication. Which is based in an understanding of cultural difference and based in an understanding of trauma.
We're much more organized and intentional about making sure that the new family understands what we can do and what we expect them to do.
How not to be over-directive, but to guide when guidance is asked for. These have all been very important learnings for me, but also in the context of respect for culture, respect for people of other ethnic origins, respect for other life experiences.
First of all, have a good understanding of the process and what is necessary in terms of taking care of this family for the whole year. But there's a small thing like the mail arrives in your apartment. So you really need a go-to person right away just to deal with mail. Talking about what their concerns are and what your concerns are and trying to come to some agreement of how we're going to get on for the next 6 months.
I don't think that we've come across any situation where anybody says, oh, that's it, like we can't handle this. There's always a resource available. It's not a problem, it's an opportunity. Turn it around, figure out how you handle it. And then you learn something from that. Like we've come up with some ideas that we hadn't even thought of that say, oh, wait a minute, this is maybe something that we can apply.
I was really excited because those changes to me, big changes. before I arrived into Canada. I was in a camp. Life was very bad there. I know that I will change my life and my family's life. Education, this was the main important thing for me as well as for my family, for the kids. Here education is good.
I felt very happy because I could understand that from now on we will live in a very safe country, and my children also, they will grow in a safe country. I study at the school that Canada is a very big country with a small population. That's all. I didn't know more than this.
I thought Canada would be like a place that's like really free, and they have a lot of beaches, and the weather, I thought the opposite. I thought the weather would be warmer than it is now.
Yeah, I thought the streets would be really, really, really clean, and like when the leaves fall or something, people come, like the people from the government come and they clean it.
It was excited for me, but after I was thinking that how will I react there? I was just thinking about so many questions was coming in my mind. We've heard about Canada and we knew quite much about it, but still me and my family coming there and living actually there was very different, and it was confusing for us. I knew about Niagara Falls. I knew that Canada is a very cold country. It has long winters.
Je me sentais très à l'aise, je me sentais très chère. Je pensais qu'au Canada, il ne faisait pas froid. Mais quand je suis arrivée, j'étais surprise. Il fait très très froid.
When I heard about it that we are coming to Canada and I'll be sponsored, I didn't know about the private sponsorships. Now I have lots of information about them. It was very surprising and it was very helpful for us too.
Private refugee sponsorship I heard before, even before I was in the camp. I know about these things because I do have a continuous contact with my aunt.
Je ne savais pas ça, mais quand je suis arrivée à l'aéroport, j'étais surprise quand j'ai vu Fadalex et les autres étaient venus m'attendre à l'aéroport. J'étais très contente.
When we came here, like fortunately the people, they came and they pick up us, they provide us everything, food, everything like we need, and it really was helpful for us.
For a while we were there like a guest, and they treated us really good. I was thinking that how could this happen for us? I don't know them. They don't know me. They have never seen me. How good people they are. That was really different from what I thought before.
Je croyais que chacun vivait pour soi, mais j'étais surprise quand je suis arrivée. Quand je pose la question à quelqu'un, il peut s'arrêter pour comprendre de quoi je vais dire et il me répond facilement.
I thought maybe I would come here and everything would be very different for me and I wouldn't be able to wear the same clothes that I was wearing. How would I start my life there from the beginning? How would I go to school? How would I find a job? These were all the questions that we had. But when we came here, people were very, very helpful. We are in progress to understand everything about Canada. Cultural differences I think that was the most differences here, that we have parents living separate and children living separate, or they can just go out of their parents home when they are 18, or we have single moms here. And or when I applied for a job, I was asked if I can work overnight, and that was a surprising question for me. Are women working overnight here, or do I have to work overnight?
Il y en a beaucoup de changements par rapport au Congo. Et comme il y a la différence de la langue, et surtout que le Canada est très vaste, et il y a pour l'éducation des enfants, c'est très différent. À la maison, quand l'enfant fait la faute, il faut le gifler. Mais ici au Canada, il faut seulement parler aux enfants. Ça, c'est très différent. Et comme ils sont venus, ils étaient habitués à être giflés. Maintenant, ils restent comme ça. C'est comme s'ils ne comprennent pas.
Back home, I thought that when we go to Canada, we would have to take off our scarves, we would have to dress like Canadian, and people would call us immigrant. When I came here, it was really exciting, and I thought, like, after a while, I thought this is my country. And I saw a lot of people wearing hijab, wearing long dresses. Every culture, they can use their own cultural dress or whatever.
It was really like green, like the trees, it was really green. So in Pakistan there wasn't green trees, there was trees but not as green as here.
Quand j'ai vu la neige, j'étais très surprise. C'était ma toute première fois de voir la neige. Je ne savais pas de quoi il s'agissait. J'ai demandé au chauffeur, c'est quoi ça? Il me disait, c'est snow. Encore, je ne comprenais pas ce que signifie snow. Encore, j'ai demandé, snow c'est quoi? Snow c'est quoi?
Since Canada is a multicultural country, I think it is very helpful for any culture who come here. The first month, we went to an Afghan shop, we went to another Pakistani superstore, and the building that we were living, they were all people from all over the world. It's a lot of people coming to a new country, and then we would share the same story with all of them.
My thought was like, I'm never gonna find my food, like my culture food. Like when I went there, it was like all our food.
The moment I arrived here, I thought that I will have a job was related with my career or with my profession. I went to the College of Nursing to be registered, and they requested many things, huge amount of money, about $600 to be registered. They requested also to have an examination to continue my profession or to work as a nurse here. So I found these things very difficult, you know.
I think the most important was finding a job. Everywhere we went, we would just ask the same question: if you have the Canadian experience. And we were like, if I have the chance, I will prove it that I can do the job. And that's what we did. We finally got the chance, and me, my brother, my sister, we were working in a coffee shop, and after, the owner was very happy with us. And she was happy that she gave us the chance. The people who sponsored us, they were very helpful too, and then they would ask us every time, and then they would show us the shopping center and the hospitals, the schools. So we actually didn't have any big challenges except finding the job.
Avant d'arriver, je croyais que au Canada, il n'y a pas de difficultés. La vie, c'est normal. Encore, je croyais que je vais venir, je vais m'asseoir, regarder la télé Mais maintenant, quand je suis arrivée, je suis allée encore à l'école comme un petit enfant. Je ne savais pas ça.
I didn't know English. It was very big challenge for me. When I went to shopping, I was alone, and I had to solve my problem by myself. Also it was very good that in Canada nobody laugh at someone that they cannot speak English. They try to understand.
For 1 year, I didn't find any friends. It was really challenging.
We were afraid to speak a little bit in the beginning because we were thinking that maybe I would make a mistake. Now I see people asking me the same question, that which bus should I take to go to this station, which bus should I take to go to that station.
Ici, on célèbre beaucoup de choses qu'on ne célèbre pas au Congo. Il y a les jours qui nous sont partis pendant la nuit. On disait Halloween. On était entrés partout dans chaque maison. Trico, 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 trico. C'était très étrange pour moi. Je ne savais pas ça.
When I was in Pakistan, I told to my children that we are going to Canada. My daughter, on that time, she was grade 6, but she was very sad. She said, okay, when I go there, I don't know English. I have to start from grade 1. I feel shame. Now I'm too big and to go to grade 1. But when we came here, she went to grade 6.
When I came here, there was teachers, there was students, and all people, they helped me. And now I'm very happy that I can speak English, and it was really good for me. Yeah. When I came here, they had the ESL classes, and they accept me in school. And now I'm studying like grade 11 and 12, and I'm really good. Like, yeah, more than my country, and I get like so knowledge. Yeah.
My teacher, she was really good, and she taught me a lot. End of the year, she gave me an award, and I was really happy and I was surprised.
Some kids were bullying us, and in Pakistan, no bullying. And it was like they didn't talk to us, but they didn't bully us either. But here, they just bully for no reason. I don't know why. Now I feel okay, because now I have a lot of friends, and both Canadian and Afghan.
Some kids are really, really annoying us, and some kids are really good. Yeah, my experience was like they treat me like a kid. Yeah, they was making fun of me.
I really love my teachers. They were really nice to me. I didn't speak English at all, but my teachers really helped me a lot.
I learned a lot of English, and it was exciting too.
I have started the process to sponsor my family. This is a big thing I've achieved. And the second thing is about the employment. I'm employed. And third thing is about safety. My life is in a very safe place.
My brothers are going to school. My older brother is going to university. I have a job. I can support my family. I can work until 12 or 1 o'clock at night time. I have no fear to go home alone. And while I'm at work, I feel comfortable that my family is safe.
Now I have hope to my children. They will have a very good education, high education, anything that they want, they can become. We can feel life free, and we can live independent.
When I was back home, I would never imagine I would get a car or I would get driver license. That's the most amazing part. I love to drive.
درس میخونن سایه یک درس سایه یک دکتر میشن یک چیز میشن دیگه من دیگه معلوم درست کرده مادر دیگه بسیار درمان آرزوی که نویس که اولاد میاد چیز خوب برای
I feel that I'm Canadian because there's not nobody behave me different that they are behave at Canadian.
I think I'm just like normal Canadian who born here. I don't see any difference between myself or them because the only difference is my English is not fluent. I have accent. They don't have.
I'm starting feeling as to be Canadian.
I wish I would knew that I could just learn French too at the same time as my English, and I wish I would knew that I had to learn a skill, maybe mechanic, maybe cooking, a chef, or a hairdresser, some skills that it will be more professional for me, and I could just open my own business here.
I wished I knew how to speak English. I didn't know when I go to Canada I would start go school and continue because I was over 18. So nobody had told me that you can go to adult school. I would have taken English classes. I would have taken math classes to be prepared for adult school. I had no idea about anything, so I wish I knew everything. First of all, my worried about who will pick up us, where we will go, how to start life in Canada. I wish I knew that there is somebody who can guide us.
Most important thing to know about Canada is about the society is good. Yeah, you need to know about the society, the educational system of the nation, the political situation of the nation is also very important, and you have to be very strong enough, and you have to be very patient. Then one day things will be changed and things will be solved. You need to have an objectives. One day you will reach the goal.
Don't be nervous when you get to school. Don't be nervous, and you just improve your English. You try to speak English like when you want to come here.
Self-confidence makes you get to success, and you're going to be successful as hard as you try.
They must understand that there will be some cultural difficulties. We can't live in our homeland in Canada, so we have to accept the differences. And this will make life easier for us and for Canadians here too. Life is very fast in Canada, and you just have to go with the flow.
Try to stand by your own feet. You have a lot of chances. You can go school different time. You can go college. You can work. Try to work and try to study. That way you will improve your life. Be proud because you're coming to Canada.